Hello, you beautiful being. Fairy Sam here, back with another recap of Bachelor in Paradise. Once upon an upload. Let's see who gets enchanted in today's fairy tale. Let's explore the fairy tale of Tia and Blake. Once upon a second in paradise, Blake arrived with a date card. Natasha and Tia were immediately into Blake, but in the end, he asked Tia on his date and she's all too happy to go. Tia went along with Lil Jon's in-person ad-libs, and that had me cracking up.
Hey! Yes! This is Lil Jon.
Lil Jon, not all jungles are the same, and not all jungles have the same wildlife.
Leopards out there, tigers, giraffes, rhinoceroses. Watch for low-hanging branches. There are snakes on those too.
Tia and Blake begin their date. Blake was someone Tia was hoping would show up on Paradise. On their date, they take a wild ride through the jungle. When they get to their date location, Tia is impressed by naught, zero, nothing. Blake is hot, he has a brain, and a nice person. Wait, what?
Hot, for one. Just nice looking, nice. You have a brain in your head.
That's all the boxes Blake needed to tick on Tia's list? Wow. And Blake's list has smart, funny, and that's it. List complete, could be worse.
Extremely attracted to you. You're smart, funny. I'm like, okay, this could be a lot worse.
That's nice.
Tia and Blake then share their perspectives on dating and find out they share the same views. They experience that feeling of comfort, like they have known each other for a while.
I feel like people are going to think we've known each other for a long time. Is that
Feels
weird?
like
Is
that,
creepy?
but I don't care what other people think, to be honest with you. Like,
And I do, and I need someone to be like, shut the up. It doesn't matter.
it doesn't.
Let me sprinkle some fairy dust in today's fairy fact. Joe and Serena's love connection is beaming through the screen, and that is a fairy fact. Joe expresses his romantic connection with Serena by creating a date night. Joe created a beautiful ambience for her. There's lanterns surrounding the beach blankets and pillows, and Joe sprinkled some petals all over the beach blanket. Serena appreciated the gesture.
Aw, so sweet.
When Joe said he's having a wonderful time with Serena and loves doing nice things for her, my heart melted. I am falling in love with this relationship. Joe is putting in effort to express how he feels about her, and it's beautiful to watch.
She's my girlfriend at this point. And now it's just seeing if we can take it to that next level, and that's what I'm, hoping for.
I also love how playful they are with each other. Serena has a chilled approach, which always seems to calm Joe. He doesn't have to overthink things, just go with the flow.
Slacking and insulted. Came down like a freaking firecracker. Is this you trying to talk about your feelings?
No, I'm just saying, I'm into you, okay? Yeah.
Serena tells Joe she's falling in love with him. She radiates when she's around him. Joe's also falling in love.
I'm falling in love with you.
I think I'm falling in love with you, too.
Really?
Yeah.
No way! Oh my god!
I'm in love, and they are glowing with happiness. I love how Joe wanted to make Serena his girlfriend, and Serena wanted to tell Joe she's in love with him. They couldn't be any adorable. Let's see who lost their sparkle in this week's fairy fail. This week's fairy fail goes to Kendall. How is she just sitting in view of Joe and Serena's date? Why are you watching your ex go on a date? I understand that people do this friend thing after being an item, but watching? Kendall, why break your own heart? Especially since when Kendall arrived at Paradise, she mentioned she still loves Joe.
Hard to
be in front of your ex. I think any one of your exes, if you watch them fall in love in front of you, it's like hard to like see him be happy.
It's only hard seeing Joe happy because you still have unresolved feelings for him. That closure talk they had wasn't enough to close this fairy tale chapter. Kendall needs to heal. And I agree with James. Watching an ex fall in love at the same space where you and the ex fell in love would be difficult to witness. But
I mean, how could it not? To see Joe and Serena falling in love on a beach where they first created memories with each other, that can't be easy.
Being on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette should have equipped her to watch someone you have a connection with open up to someone else. Also, Joe and Kendall had the closure talk, and they've been over for a year and a half. Kendall still has a lot of love for Joe, and this is just torture for her. Here's my fairy take on today's episode. The women were freaking out because 5 of them would potentially be going home. Demi points out the double standard for Chris and Alena versus Brandon and Piper. While Demi's having this conversation, Brandon and Piper mock Natasha for not taking the situation well, including reiterating that no one was into her anyway. That was uncalled for, guys. Once Natasha breaks down what actually happened to Jasenia, Joe, Demi and others, they realize his story doesn't match Piper's. And I was here for Joe calling out Brandon and Piper. Joe was right. Brandon and Piper came as a couple, and Brandon's defense just proved that. Brandon has been on 2 or 3 dates with Piper. Not only that, they've had interactions with each other among each other's friends. But they are not a dating couple only because they didn't pronounce the relationship as exclusive.
We've gone out to dinner together 2 or 3 times, just us. But I've been in groups with her friends Chelsea, other friends from the show.
That's just pure nonsense. Brandon confesses he liked Piper before the show and hoped she would make it to paradise. Brandon tried to throw Natasha under the bus, but Demi rescued her and steers Brandon back into the lion's den. When Demi asked why Brandon and Piper were on Paradise, his response was like that of a malfunctioning robot.
Because in the last 3 days, I've spent way more time with Piper than I have before or would have any opportunity to. So I know you guys like wrote the rule book of relationships and also Paradise, but like, let's what do you mean?
He couldn't string a sentence that made sense. DeAndre switches things up and gives Piper an opportunity to speak after highlighting the fact that Piper never intended to open herself up to any other person.
Clear that I came here to be with Brendan. You know, I didn't realize that there was a rule book that I didn't read that said like you can't come here with the intention of meeting somebody. Like I had an intention to meet him and like
Meet him?
I'm sorry. Like
Piper reiterates what everyone already knew. Brandon and Piper came to Paradise for views, vacation, and opportunities the show would present them after airing. Joe's correct. There may be loopholes to Paradise, but you need to be open to exploring new connections. Natasha echoes his sentiment.
There is no rule book in Paradise, but everybody is under the impression that you come here open.
Being open to this process isn't waiting for someone who I already have a strong connection walking down.
This is the point where Brandon could have apologized for being caught, but no, not Brandon. Brandon was spinning and he spiraled out of control. So, Brandon and Piper decide to exit the confrontational talk only to forget they are still mic'd and being recorded, and Piper slips up. Piper mentions that it's all been about followers. Meanwhile, viewers of the show are unfollowing them faster than they could salvage their stupidity.
entire master's degree in marketing, I think I can figure out how to get a few more followers. I'm sure if the Atlanta Chris situation hadn't happened, then it wouldn't have been
I mean, yeah.
Yes, blame Chris and Alana. their fault for being found out. So Brandon and Piper try to secure the bag and exit paradise. Their experience on the show was engineered to get them more social media followers and attention. Now let me sprinkle some positivity and lighten the mood. Marissa and Riley want to sprinkle, spread, and devour the cream of each other's body. The end game is definitely the boom boom room. First card Riley whipped up was thighs, but the boobage came out to play when Riley devoured the cream.
Where is Riley and Marissa?
Becca notices that Riley and Marissa were missing. Noah breaks it down to everyone in paradise that Marissa has taken Riley on a freaky, nasty date. Marissa and Riley's date started to look like something you found on OF. And the O stands for only and the F does not stand for fairies. Everyone is staring or gazing in Riley's and Marissa's direction, and Mari is not here for none of the steamy action. A few of the guys were obviously drooling, and Ivan's comment took me out.
Oh, I'm so sticky right now.
I agree with Wells on this one. The licking was gross. But in the stop it, no continue, I don't want to see this, but I'm peeping kind of way. Yes, Wells, if you can suck a toe, you can get engaged.
So, it's gotta be the most romantic thing, because if you can suck on a toe, you can get engaged at the end of this thing.
Where'd they go?
Not everyone wanting the boom boom room tea. That's gross, y'all. But I'll spill the tea. Marissa is a whole freak and Riley loves it. I can't with them. I was disturbed and I simultaneously fell pregnant just from watching them do their thing. Dr. Joe arrives with a card in hand, and as he greets everyone, Kendall is triggered by his name for obvious reasons.
In walks Dr. Joe, the other Joe. So, as you know, Joe is a triggering word for me.
Natasha, on the other hand, is intrigued by his energy. Dr. Joe cheekily requests to be called Dr. Parker Parktoe.
I'm Joe, but I went through a lot of medical training, so just call me Dr. Park from now on, okay?
Oh, okay, I like it. Joe, how does it feel to not be a doctor?
It feels fine back then.
Dr. Joe, Parktoe, calls out Natasha first for that let's go get to know each other talk before we go on a date. And everyone is happy for Natasha. Clearly, she wants to know Joe's intentions straight off the bat. I'm thinking if Natasha doesn't find a connection on Paradise, I would love it for her to become the next Bachelorette. She's independent, knows what she wants and doesn't want in a relationship, and has tried all other avenues to find love. This is a great edit for her. They get to know each other is going well. Noah and Becca wants Dr. Joe to seal his interest in Natasha with a kiss.
Let's just kiss already.
This movie's getting boring. Make out. Do it, Joe. She likes a man that takes charge.
But that would be premature. Instead, Joe takes Natasha on a real date. Everyone is rooting for Dr. Joe and Natasha and hopes they form a connection, but everyone is also simultaneously placing a lot of pressure on Joe. Yes, be protective over Natasha, but be mindful of Joe as well. That's all I'm saying. Oh, heck no. On their date, we learn Dr. Joe and Brendan are besties. And when Natasha's history on the beach comes up, Dr. Joe is gobsmacked. Or is he? Because Joe sorta kinda knew Brendan and Piper were a thing. Natasha's revelation is like flipping a switch, and Dr. Joe immediately starts backpedaling and insists he and Natasha could just let it ride and see what happens in paradise. Dr. Joe has been found out. He knew of the trickery and Natasha is disheartened by it. This is a giant red flag. Here's what you missed while you were spellbound. Here's other things that went down on the beach in case you missed it. Let me first begin by opening the love potion and casting a magical spell. Kenny and Mari are continuing their fairy tales. Taste some of the love potion and gives Tia a kiss. This was way before Blake graced us with his arrival, which left James feeling a little robbed. Aaron points out that it seems like James ends up back at square one every week. The pot calling the kettle black. How long will your connection with Chelsea last? Everyone gathered and sing Tammy happy birthday. Tammy confronted Thomas about his date with Becca, and even though she gave Becca her blessing to pursue Thomas, Tammy tells Thomas,
And I feel like you are a great fit in my life.
Thomas takes this opportunity to dive into the friend zone and he breaks up with Tammy on her birthday. He does this in order to continue his bond of like with Becca. Tammy is devastated with how it all unraveled. Wells gave an honest speech at the rose ceremony, how the beat most controversial couple scammed Natasha. Wells had a rose for Natasha, which had her emotional. She receives a second chance to find love and hope that her unlucky spell of love has come to an end. With this rose, Wells acknowledged her effort to finding love, and everyone agrees with this sentiment. Justice for Natasha. And this was why everyone was protective over Natasha when Dr. Joe arrived. You might have also missed this. Kendall found out the whole Joe moving forward with Serena heartbreaking, and when Ivan goes to kiss her, Kendall rejects him. Aina.
I'm falling in love with you.
Really? I don't want to be here.
Either Ivan was not reading the room or Kendall is clearly just not over Joe. And to be frank, Ivan deserves better. First, Jasenia tried to pull a fast one on him, which backfired on Jasenia, and now the only person he is pursuing is emotionally attached to someone else. Kendall gets up, tells Ivan she needs space. I don't feel bad for Kendall. Joe didn't want to break up with Kendall. She didn't want to give up her hometown comforts and try Chicago. Tried the LA thing, but it didn't work out. She wouldn't budge on even giving his hometown a try. Side note, can we make Wells the official host of Bachelor in Paradise? He can still maintain his bar duties, of course. The host isn't really required at the dates either way, so he can definitely host and bartend. The duality is not impossible. And that is all the magic I have for you. Until next time, remember to spread some fairy dust.